Well, good evening, everybody. Yeah, welcome to Frightners this evening on Friday. Those of you that are very well adept in using your eyes will be able to see that it's just two of us tonight. It's me and Spooky Viv, and the absence is from Loopy Lois and Parker. They're not here tonight. And if you read underneath where Viv has put a thing up, they've been so naughty that we've decided to ground them.
They're
That's right.
grounded.
We put
They're
them. They're
grounded.
on the step outside at the moment. They're thinking
They're
about what
naughty.
they've done. So yeah, but you never know. They might come
Thanks,
back. Good
Andy.
evening, Gary. I hope you're doing well, buddy.
Hi, Gary.
See,
Hi, Annette.
hi, Annette.
She's
Oh,
lovely, isn't
it's
she,
good
and
to see
Annette?
you. She is indeed. Right. So this evening, obviously, we just rambled, didn't we? And even more so now that we haven't got the kids holding us back.
We've got. We're supposed to be talking. She set us a task, didn't she? Did Lois?
Did she?
Ancient folklore, ghosties, and we're supposed to be talking about that. But we will talk about what we like because she's not here.
Yeah. We're not having no snotty nosed kids telling us what to talk about on our program, on her program actually. So we'll talk about that tonight. We'll sort of delve into that, and we'll talk about.
We'll fit it in somewhere, Dan. We'll fit it in somewhere.
We'll fit it in somewhere. First, I'd like to talk to you about my feet and how sore they've been today. They've been sore. They've been sore. They really have. I hope they take and learn from their punishment. They won't. They're kids. They won't. They will not.
I am going to slap Jamie because he just deserves one anyway.
He does. He does. He does.
Putting his collar up. I have to tell him to put his collar down all the time.
He's walking around like Elvis Presley, isn't he? With his collar up.
And his big quiff.
With his big quiff. So when the cat is away, the mouse will play. Exactly, Gary. Exactly. So yes, this evening we're going to talk about myths and legends and stuff like that. Obviously, Lois's bottle went. She set us a task, and then her bottle went, and she just didn't turn up. No, she's busy doing other stuff, being told off. Hi, you, Gary. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're all good out there.
She's actually working, I think, tonight, Dan.
I think she is working. Yeah, she's working this evening.
Hi, Kerry.
And Parker has been busy. He's a busy lad, and he's been working all the hours under the sun. So he's knackered, as they say. There you go. Oh, look, he's in the house. Parker in the house. I can't even argue with that, Jay. I can't even argue with that. You're absolutely right.
Jay, get back on your naughty step where you belong.
Yes. Sitting next to the other Herbert.
In other words, Dan.
They all rebelled, are they? They're all rebelling now. They're all see.
Yeah, Lois needs a good slap from you, Dan, as well.
What are you going to line them up and slap their asses together? One great slap. Add me in, says Kerry.
Ooh, we're getting kinky tonight.
I know, we're talking about perverse stuff.
Dan, you're going to have to slap Kerry. We've got 3 people to slap now.
We're going to line them all up and slap them together. Just whip your hand across their asses. That'd be great.
Larry says she's just finished, but her signal is shite.
Well, fair enough.
If she comes on. If she don't, she don't.
If you come on, you come on. If you don't, you don't. Be good if you do, because we can talk about the beasties. Long-legged beasties.
The beasties, yes.
We'll talk about that anyway. So, how's your week unfolded, Viv? Obviously, I've not spoken to you since Wednesday.
So... well, I've been doing my housework duties. I've been a housewife, cooked Andy's dinner. I cooked it from scratch. He was most impressed.
Wow.
Doing a bit in the garden, watered the garden, a bit unlike me.
That's very unlike you. That's very domestic goddess, isn't it?
I even took a trip into Huntingdon today to do my shopping. Normally I don't go very far, but I thought, you know what, I'll get in my car and I'll go for a little drive just for a change of scenery. And I haven't driven my car for about 2 weeks. I thought, well, I'll go to Huntingdon because it's quite an old place and full of history and
lovely
and all the rest of it. Where Oliver Cromwell, birthplace of Oliver Cromwell.
Oliver Cromwell knocked about a bit.
With his warts and all.
With warts and all. Oliver Cromwell knocked about a bit. So
Dan, how was your week? Oh, Gary says you need to get a big whacker stick.
Yes. Gary, you make one. You sound like you know what you're on about. You make one of them up for me. That'd be great. My week, yeah, it's like boring, same as every other week, really.
But this weekend's going to be exciting though, because we've got an investigation.
This weekend is going to be a good weekend to look forward to because we're out investigating, aren't we? So looking forward to that, and we're with Paul and Lucy and Mark Manley and Mark Manley's better half. I believe she's coming with us, so that'll be nice. I've not met her before. She seems like a nice lady. So that'll be nice to meet them and to see Mark. It's been a while, far too long since we've seen Mark, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to see Mark and catch up with him. It's a shame some other people aren't there, but you know, what can you do? But so we're out tomorrow evening, so we're looking forward to that. And busy week coming up next week as well.
She says you pop in on about 9.
That's Don't you put yourself out, Lois, hey?
It's way past your bedtime, Lois.
So I'm looking forward to that. It should be good. Good. So are you looking forward to it?
It's a place I've not really fussed about investigating it or not really.
I've never been there, so it'd be quite interesting to.
No, but I think it'd be nice to sort of get together with everybody and have a good catch up.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's nice to catch up with friends and stuff that you've not seen for a while. It'd be lovely to see them all again.
No doubt we'll go live on Striking Midnight page, and you'll see where we are and what we're doing. So if you want to know more, you'll just have to look out on the Striking Midnight page, because there'll be lots coming up on that soon.
There will. We've got a backlog of stuff that needs to be caught up with now. And it kind of got away from us, what with work and everything getting in the way, and it was kind of lots and lots of footage to go through and rearrange and put in order, and it'll get there.
We'll do it.
About 4 or 5 investigations that are backed up that we haven't put up, aren't there, at the moment?
Yeah, we'll get them done.
So we'll get them done. So so that's all good.
The ghosties are in the house. They keep turning my light off. It's getting on my nerves.
So, did anybody listening to our podcast on Wednesday evening? And did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Would you like to see more of that type of thing, or? Some men in black.
I just send the black men. I don't mind. Did I say that? Ooh. Oh dear, we are naughty.
Yeah, just want to know how that got on, because we just wanted to know if people enjoyed it the other night, and just see if there's more that we want us to do more of that or less of that. Or Wednesday was very interesting. That's on the fence, Gary.
We will get some mediumship going. We're going to get a couple of people that can do mediumship. We're looking at
William?
Oh,
can we?
This is Lois's show, but Lois is she was working today, so.
Are you, Kelly?
Kelly in the house. Woo, woo,
Kelly
woo,
in the
woo,
house.
Woo,
Kelly. Woo, 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 woo.
William in the house. Woo, woo, woo. Sorry.
So, if you found that interesting the other day, let us know.
Yes. So, ancient folklore, Dan.
Ancient folklore, yes. Ancient folklore. Well, there's a folk tale for every inch of the land, it seems, isn't there? And every inch of the globe, really. And I think the interesting thing with a lot of these folk tales is that, irrespective of where they come from on the planet, a lot of them seem to emanate from the same source, and or they seem to have a common source, which I find quite interesting, because if we're led to believe what we're led to believe, then people that far apart thousands of years ago was no interconnectivity. There's no connection between them. They came up with very similar ideas without a grain of truth behind it interest me. To me, that says there is a grain of truth behind it, and there's a lot more than a grain.
Do you think that
Um,
these these omens, like if a black cat walks in front of you, that sort of thing, do you think that derives from ancient folklores as well?
I think that probably a lot of it does, although I'm not really that superstitious in that way. I mean, I'll walk under a ladder and black cats walk in front of me, and it doesn't really. I'm not fussed. It doesn't bother me.
Well,
I mean,
my black cat, he hasn't
I,
brought me any luck.
exactly.
He
Friday the
just look.
13th is my birthday, so it doesn't bother me at all. Are you, Jacqueline? Hope you're
Hi,
well.
Jacqueline.
Lovely to see you. Um, yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of it comes through its wives' tales, isn't it? And it's stuff that's been handed down through. A lot of it is village folklore, isn't it? Which was handed
Yeah.
down through the wise women and the cunning folk, as it were. There is a net. Yes, I've got the map actually. I've got the map. It's quite interesting. But it's not just nationally; it's globally. It's like a lot of these folk tales and a lot of these creatures seem to follow the same, almost parallel lines with each other, and they seem to have a common source, which is what interests me, which leads me to believe that there's something true and real behind it. Um,
Do you
Especially
think?
when you go back far enough, where these nations are said not to have had any connectivity with each other. Although I'm thinking people were probably a lot more connected, even further back than what we're led to believe. I think people probably connected going way, way, way back. I mean, it's only recently, isn't it, that they've said about the. Well, it's only recently that they've made a big thing about the Vikings going to the United States prior to everybody else. So
But Do you think that these
hi,
you
you
know?
William. Hope you're doing well. Hi,
Hi,
Charles.
William. Do you think that the folklore though, like today, the Celts? When I say the Celts, I mean Ireland, Wales, Scotland. They keep those kind of traditions alive, whereas us in the UK, we're not really fussed, really, are we?
I think what it is, I think that it's oral. The thing with the Celts, and I think it's the same with a lot of the ancient nationalities, is that or ancient tribes, is that what they've done is a lot of it was handed down orally,
Mm,
and so the myths and legends that we got today are particles of what the true origin was. I think
yeah,
that we've lost an awful lot of the truth behind the myths and legends. And what we've done is we've reconstituted it with, I suppose, like Wicca is added
yeah,
its bit to it, and Wicca feminism and stuff like that, and they've all added their little bit to it, and so it's kind of watered it down and
yeah,
diluted it, and it's become what it has today, which is neo-paganism. You know,
yeah.
whereas I believe in paganism, for me, it has to have its roots in fact, it has to have its roots in the ancient. It has to be information that's handed down. There isn't an awful lot of it.
No,
So kind of people are piecing it together today and maybe taking two and two and coming up with five, or diluting it down to their own specifications. But yeah, I mean, Cornwall has some legends because Cornwall obviously very Celtic.
mm,
Um, yeah, exactly, William. Yeah. I think that what's happened is that people have diluted it. That I was watching a thing the other day about Kernunos. Now, Kernunos, as if you know your pagan history about your gods and your goddesses. Hi, Charles. Um, he's the god of the wild things. He's the sort of male counterpart to the goddess. So
mm,
he's the equilibrium. He keeps the balance between the male and the female, as it were.
yeah,
He dies once a year and then he comes rebirth, and the rebirth is Mother Nature. So he's kind of gives birth to himself through he becomes his own father in that respect. So but a lot of that has got lost, I think, through the millennia, because it's oral tradition, and a lot of it has died with either the Druids or those people. Oh no, no, they're very real. No, they're very
Dan.
real. Believe me, I've
I've
I've heard them, and
I had
amazing.
I had a very interesting talk with a reenactor lady. Now I went to go and see Sutton Hoo, And while I was there were some reenactors that were supposed to be Viking, and I was drawn to one of the tents. Well, they had their tents up. Went to one of the tents, and it was the healing lady. I don't know what you would call her. And I said, "Oh, are you reenacting Vikings?" She said, "No." She said, "I go into paganism, but I go way back." So that's interesting. I tell you what, I spent about 2 hours chatting to her. But the interesting thing I learnt was she was talking because she had the skull of a goat sitting on her thing, and she was telling me how they would the I don't know. I'm going to call them healers, okay? Right. So she called them something else. But the healers would have the skull of an animal because they believe, and they would carry it around with them everywhere. And she said that the skull of the animal was because they believed that the soul still lived on and would aid you, aid you in your healing practices. So this goat was prominent for her because it had the horns and all the rest of it, a lovely looking thing. She said, yeah, she said that, well, we would use that within our practices with medicine. And she said, this is folklore. It's come down and it's all word by mouth that you had this skull, which was the spirit animal that would help you to heal ailments and other people. They would use different skulls for different things. And I thought that was really interesting because me and you know, Dan, we've spoken to people about the skull thing. And is this an ancient folklore tale that's been passed down word of mouth like you was just explaining? Or is this something real that people do today or did do up until present day medical profession? I don't know.
That was why the warriors of old, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
Celts and what have you, and the Anglos and all that. That is why, or the Angles, that is why they never wanted their head separated from the body. So to kill somebody was one thing, but to take the head was to take the prize, was to take the soul. And so that was part and parcel of the reason. And this all, it ties into all of that ancient,
Yeah.
That folklore. It ties into all of that prehistory, And I think that's the thing. And it's the same with the green man, if you like, with with Kernunos, Green
Yeah.
Man, Woad, whatever you want to call him, um, because the church got hold of him, he the horned god, and
Yeah.
they used Satan to represent him.
Yeah.
That was their overlay, you see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then it made the horned god became the devil or Satan or what have you, whatever you want to call him, and that was their way of, or divisive way of separating them from the people. But of course, it didn't really work, did it? Because even the people today, I mean, I remember speaking to my dad, and my dad was he was born and brought up a Catholic. He was brought up in a Catholic church, same as my mum. But you only had to scrape my dad a little bit, and just
Poor
underneath.
dad.
Just
Poor dad.
tell you what, you only had to scrape a little bit, and all of a sudden, just under there was a Celtic soul.
Yeah.
He was Irish, and just under that, just scrape
Mm.
that modicum of what people call respectability of the church. Scrape that down, and he was a man that believed very much in the fae. He was a man that believed in a lot of the Celtic belief systems, and and he would. He was the one that told me that, and I always remember it. Even as a kid, look, you don't need to go to a church to worship God. Yeah, Herne the Hunter,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
You don't need to go to church to worship a God. You just go outside. That's God's church.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
nature. That nature is that's where you see God. The
But
way
Dan,
you set up the
do you
old
think
building.
they used to make up these folklore tales just to keep the children under control? Don't be going into the woods or the forest at night because you don't want to hear the banshee crying. If you hear the banshee wail, then it means you're a dead man or whatever. And that still goes on today because people believe in the banshee.
Well, I think
And
she's a very real thing, Viv. I
yeah,
believe that she's a very real thing. Certain families that she appears to, but she's often seen on a bridge and she has her back to you and she's combing her hair. And that's also like the sirens, like
yeah,
the mermaids. I
yeah,
think there's a Rock of Lorelei, isn't it? That in Germany, with it's got the mermaid on the rock there, the siren,
okay,
and it's calling the sailors to their deaths. So it's all interrelated. It's all these mythological and magical beings, and I believe in them fully, absolutely. Um, I don't believe I'm a lizard, but I do believe
I'm a spider.
I'm a spider. I don't believe I'm a lizard person or anything like that, but I do believe in those because they're elements of nature. You know,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me, they're just there. They're there. They're magical creatures. They're nature. They're elements of nature. Like the elementals. People, when they mention elementals, they get terrified of them. But people seem to forget these are the old gods.
You see, like for me, an elemental is earth energy. Now, the whole of our earth, whether we believe it or not, creates and is energy. And inside that earth's crust, energy is just bubbling and waiting to get out, basically. That's why we have ley lines. Ley lines, I think, are very synonymous with Fae as well, aren't they, Dan? You would know more than
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, um, where are we now? William would know. The ley lines that run through Glastonbury
Glastonbury, yeah, there's a lot.
around there. William
Isn't
would know
there
more about that.
there's a major one that runs right the way through to the Tor, isn't there? And
It's the
it
one that
runs the
runs.
length.
Yeah, isn't that the one that runs through? I'm not really up on lays, but isn't it that William will know? William will know. Help us out, William.
I think there's a major one that goes from right the
It's,
way down the middle of the country, right the
yeah,
way through to
I can't think of the
Glastonbury.
name of it. William will know it. I can't. I can't think of the name of it. But yes, there's the. Oh God! It runs? Doesn't it run through? It runs through Stonehenge and it runs through um, Avebury and stuff, doesn't it?
I think so.
I can't think of the name of it. Yeah,
The main one. We'll call it the
the
main
main one.
one.
Keep me guessing. Keep me guessing. Thanks, William.
He wants to see you squirm.
No, William knows. I know William will know perfectly. We know exactly what I'm on about. I just
Yeah,
can't.
he will.
I can't think. I can't think. No, it's not. Oh, for God's sake! Bloody
Do you know
hell!
what? Why
Really
you why?
amazing.
Yeah, but that it's just like I think there's ley lines right across the world. Right across the world. It's
Oh,
not just
absolutely.
here.
Yeah, absolutely. Energy lines, and you've got the Fae that live in the that live in the Glastonbury Tor, haven't you, as well?
Major ley line. I'm going to find out what this is now because this is
And
bugging
again,
me.
it's if you look at a lot of these deposits where they put the Christians have put the Christianity's put the churches, it's all a lot of it is on ancient ley lines or where ley lines meet, and it's on basically it's on sacred ground, it's on sacred pagan ground. And again, what they've done is they've just tarmacked over it, if you like, and stuck a church on it, and they've utilised the energy and the power, the
Yeah.
pagan power and energy for their benefit, you know.
Hang on. It's given me this thing that's come up with ley lines, but I have no idea what it's called.
Do you know, I've got a
St.
book on
Mike.
ley lines, and I can't think of the name of that
Is it called the St.
St.
Michael
Michael.
alignment?
St.
Alignment.
Michael. Well done. Yeah, Sedona, Arizona. Yeah, as Charles
I've
Rudd
been.
says. Yeah, Sedona,
I've,
Arizona. All over the
I've been
world,
there.
Charles. They're all
I,
over the world.
I've been there, Sedona, and I tell you what, Dan, you'd love that place. It's
Is it
to me,
lovely?
it's brilliant. Like it's full of energy, but it's funny as well. And I think I had my first taste of crocodile meat in Sedona.
Oh, what was that
Uh,
like?
it was salty. It was a bit weird, but
Bit
anyway,
fishy in it, apparently. It's a little bit.
it is. Yeah, but it was all right. It was what it was. But Sedona have got this huge rock that's shaped like a bell. It's called Bell Rock. And at the foot of Bell Rock, I took a piece of the rock itself. It's red. Like all their rock and sand out there is
Oh,
all
that's
red.
beautiful, isn't it?
It was hot. I can tell you it was really, really hot. But there were a lot of people doing readings and some weird and wonderful people sitting in copper triangles with their crystal on the
Oh,
top.
yeah, trying to
Christ,
centralise the energy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do people still
whatever.
use them? I don't know if people still use. Do people still use copper
Oh, I just think it's funny.
triangles?
When I see somebody sitting in their triangle, I don't understand it, so it's funny to me. And I'll always laugh at somebody sitting at triangle. So apologies if you do that, if that's your bag, but
Exactly, William. All built on mostly built on pagan sites. Exactly.
Very powerful spirits. Hello, Shanta in
Hey,
the
Chantal in
house.
the house. Get down with it. Chantal's in the house. Yes, exactly, William. But a lot of
Yeah,
them are built on pagan sites, and the reason,
yeah.
obviously, you know the reasons for that. But
Is it Norman does that geometry stuff,
well,
and
sacred geometry, isn't it?
yeah, and he does it
Beautiful, isn't
around
it?
the
Some of it's
churches.
amazing.
But he told us something, didn't he? If something about the circle. Can you remember what it was, Dan? Somebody told us about the
Yes,
churches.
it was about if it's a. You can tell if a church is built on a pagan site because the churchyard will be circular.
That's right.
If it's not built on a pagan site, then it will be square. I think that's what they were saying. The churchyard will be square. I don't know the reason behind that, but it's something to do with the way that they built them, which is interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, the church, they come along and bastardized everything about the pagan belief system and religion that they could. And they turned it from something that was pure and good into something that was negative, or they tried to. But,
And
people
Gary's
didn't.
been Gary's been googling again.
As running 300 miles St Michael's Mountain, Cornwall, Hopton, East Anglian coast connects many different prehistoric sites. Yeah, exactly. St Michael's. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's sacred geometry is beautiful, isn't it? A lot of
Do you know? Do you know what I find interesting, Dan? Is when he did that geometry in there's quite a few of the churches here. I can tell you privately which ones they are, but the church sits dead smack in the middle of the pentangle. There was a couple of them that he found up here when he
yeah.
did the
There's a few of them,
geometry.
aren't
Yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of them. Well, it's again the pentangles are just it's a religious thing, isn't it? It's a sacred sign. It's not. Yeah, they did on it. And this is an argument I once had with a vicar. He was very anti-pagan, and he was marrying a couple of friends. Well, not my friends, but Hazel's friends, really. And he was marrying them, and he did the whole thing. And he was anti-pagan, but he did the whole thing where they went up and these were ardent Christians as well, as you can see. I'm not. And they were up there, and I said to him at the end of it, I said, Alan, I didn't think this was the vicar. I said, I didn't think you believed in paganism. I don't. He went, I don't. I mean, I don't. I won't even all know. I don't. I went, well, what you did was pagan. What part of that ritual he went was pagan? I went, you tied the hands together with coloured string, with a candle in the middle. You tied them. That's a pagan.
They go,
You
yeah,
didn't want to have it. And I said, it's just like everything else the church takes. They steal it and make it their own, don't they?
that's true.
And this is what makes me angry.
Oh, do you know what about Salisbury Cathedral? Oh, I took many pictures of Salisbury, and I did some at night when there was hardly anybody about. And it's quite interesting because where they've put the lights on the edge of the cathedral, around the cathedral to light it up, when you take the picture and look at the shadows that the lights cause, they look like monks
Oh,
standing there,
really?
like a whole army of monks. But it's not. It's the shadows of the lights, the way that they're thrown up against the
Oh,
wall.
that's
But
pretty cool.
I thought that was pretty cool. But it's only when you take photos that you
You can
notice,
make it out.
look at these. Like,
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be.
sometimes.
Sometimes it does, but it's a pagan thing. It's nothing to do with Christianity. It's just mm,
It's like when you see the priest when he does his last rites, or if there's an exorcist that's come from that church. I'm not going to mention it, but he'll take his stole, which is normally purple, and he'll wrap it round, or he'll put it on. It's the same kind of
yeah,
ritual. It's,
yeah.
it's exactly the same.
Well, isn't they say, well, you shouldn't do spells. Church says you shouldn't do spells. You shouldn't do spells. They're evil. You're asking for us. No, you shouldn't do spells. Let's all pray together. Well, what's prayer then?
It's a
If you're
spell,
kneeling
isn't
down
it?
and you're asking for something, aren't you asking for a spell? Isn't that a kind of spell? Isn't it an incantation? Aren't you asking for help? Aren't you asking for
Yeah.
something to come into you? So it's very, it's very, a lot of it's hypocritical, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know?
it works. It's all in the intention, isn't it? That's what they
Yeah,
put out in the
yeah,
intention. So ancient folklore. So Paul Williams said something quite interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, though, isn't it, William, that when the wise woman used to do it, or the cunning man, then it was seen as something that was dark and evil. But monks used to do it.
It's always been
Monks used to
done.
farm they used to have their own gardens, didn't they, with their medicines and plants for this and plants for that. But it was never seen as a negative thing when they did. It's amazing, isn't it? The double standards just.
So the monks in is it Worcestershire? I might have the place wrong, but the monks there are the ones responsible for first eating snails in this
I
country. They
do.
used to
Yeah, I
cultivate
think
them, didn't they?
we were the first lot to start it, weren't we?
Hi, Dave. Oh, Joe, disgusting. Anyway, so
It's horrible.
what I was going to say was let's talk about the Aztecs. So they had folklore. I was lucky to actually see one, which was I went to a place called Cozumel in Mexico. It was one of the islands off the main island. And basically, I went to one of their temples in stupid heat. It was a ridiculous day, honestly, Dan. I wish I never went. And a lot of it was in ruin, but they had this one part which wasn't, and you was able to look in. You couldn't walk in there, but you could look in. And what they would do is they would take a pilgrimage there, and they would have it would be for women, and there was bloodied handprints on the wall. So they tried to save a lot of the. Well, obviously you're not going to see the blood, but they reenacted by putting a painted hand on the wall. So their folklore was they'd make this pilgrimage to this temple. They'd put bloodied hands on the wall. Now, where they're getting their blood from, these women, I don't know, unless they're killing someone or sacrificing them. Put their handprints on the wall, and this would help the woman to become pregnant. To
All right.
reproduce. So then they'd go all the way back home again, and then they'd become pregnant. I think that there was stupid things that happened there with well, I see them as stupid. Maybe they didn't, this is how we've evolved, but they would sacrifice someone, put their hands, I don't think it was menstrual blood, I think they were putting their hands in somebody else's blood and putting them on the walls. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. But if people believed that in their folklore and they wished it so much,
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
the intention would put it there.
Intention's everything, isn't it? Intention is everything.
Oh my
I
God,
tell you.
William!
They call it is it Dawlish wall fruit? They call it, or something like that, don't
Oh my God!
they? Dawlish wall fruit, or something, or yeah, something like Dorset.
Unless
I can't remember what it is now.
It's disguised with garlic butter or something. They must taste.
Now I can't eat snails, but I like whelks and cockles and winkles and stuff like that.
And yet the snail is more tender because I've eaten snails. I like snails, like proper French snails. They're quite tender.
Oh, no.
But no, not yeah.
So long as the escargot wasn't 900 years old, you should be all right.
We went to Talham Ruins 3 weeks ago. Snap.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. As long as you didn't eat snails there, menstrual blood, I think it was more sacrificial to be.
They're bigger than that. They still do. Some women still do, don't they? Some stay.
Yeah. Oh, what they do is, Dan, they get the placenta. There's a woman that comes in and when the afterbirth is there, she grabs the afterbirth and she puts it in a blender and they make a shake out of it, and the husband and the wife can drink the placenta. See mine. No. I saw mine and thought, oh my God,
I saw one as well.
Well, the woman put her hands in it and she was holding it up to the window and looking to see if it was intact. I thought, you're mental. Oh, bloody woman's mental. What's she doing with that?
I'm going to be sick now. Me as well, William. Me as well.
It's your own fault. It's your own fault, William.
Oh,
Oh, so
but
what other
yeah.
folklores? What other folklores do you know, Dad?
Well, there's loads of them, isn't there? But I mean, the thing that I was thinking about. It was only in Norfolk the other day, wasn't I? And I was thinking about the black shuck and things like that, and the other because obviously black shuck seems to be the main one around Norfolk, doesn't it?
Shuck,
Oh
yeah.
hell no!
And we talk about placentas. Willow the wisp. Willow the
Willow
wisp
the
is a
wisp, yeah, Willow the wisp.
willow
My
the
dad used
wisp.
to tell me about that one. Never follow.
And
He was adamant. Never follow. Never if you see a shard of light in the forest, he used to say, never follow it. It will do its best to entice you, but never follow it.
well,
And
apparently
he was adamant about that.
that they said that up here we're going to go there. There's a place called Wicken Fen, and it's actually out in Fenland. And there was a Willow the wisp. A police officer was there at Wicken Fen, and he got a call to say we need you in Soham. And so he decided to take the shortcut and walk or on his push bike from Wicken Fen to Soham, which is not very far on your push bike. But they say that he followed Willow the Wisp, and he never reached his destination, and his body has never been found. That he just disappeared, and they don't know whether it was because of Willow the Wisp, or whether it was because of Black Shuck, because Black Shuck's been seen round there quite a
It
lot.
could be all that, couldn't it? It could be Fae, or it could be. I mean, it could be things like alien abduction.
Wicken Fen.
It's disgusting.
You watch, they'll be selling that at Starbucks soon, isn't
Oh,
placenta looking milkshake. Poor Sharon. I'll tell her you said that.
I think that there's you got Black Shuck, haven't you? And you got amongst other things,
Big cats.
big cats. There's lots of stuff going on in Norfolk, isn't there? Norfolk's it's a hit place at the minute, isn't it? With all the
Plus,
paranormal activity.
where I live, there's inbred people. Apparently,
There are inbred people.
and they've got webbed feet. Apparently, Dad.
All those little villages have. All those little villages got inbreds.
So here's some folklore for you. Where I live, it's a small town called Chatteris. And Chatteris is Queen Boudica, or Boadicea, depending on how you pronounce it. Chatteris was her last stronghold and her home. And the folklore say she was taken from Chatteris to Colchester, where she was executed by the Romans. But there has been scientific finds here that say that Boudica actually wasn't taken to Colchester and executed. She fought against the Roman army and succeeded, and her body is buried somewhere here in Chatteris. They believe that she was a queen, a leader in her own right, which she was. She was a warrior woman, the first woman that stood up to all these horrible men. And she formed an army and she fought against them and was successful. But apparently she's buried here. But folklore will tell you something completely different, that she was executed in Colchester, which is not correct.
I think that's with history, though, isn't it? They keep changing. Because
Yeah.
as they find more things, all of a sudden their ideas change, don't they? Like that, oh, hang on, that didn't happen then. It happened earlier or it happened later. We've just got the timeline wrong and what have you. But
I'll send my lot to you, Annette, if you want.
You could do an exchange.
Yeah. Inbred. Me and Annette will do an inbred exchange with one another.
But yeah, I mean, the timelines seem to be all wrong, don't they? They get a lot of the timelines seem to be wrong, and they're still scratching their head about a lot of things. And I mean, it's all supposition, a lot of it, isn't it? With a lot of the stuff, it's sort of guessing, isn't it, and putting it together like a jigsaw puzzle. And then all of a sudden, they think they've got a handle on it, and then bang, they'll find something. You'll be like, oh, maybe we were wrong then. It's like the thing. I think that peoples have been globally connected way before they say they were, you know, when they're saying, oh, well, you know, we found this and we didn't expect this to be here because this comes from that part of the planet. And these
Yeah.
they weren't even connected then. They wouldn't have been trading them. Well, clearly they have been trading. How's that
Yeah.
got there? Clearly
Yeah.
they've been trading. Now they're rethinking the trade routes, aren't they? And how, you know, that maybe they were trading. Maybe there was this and maybe there were these connections.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
But it's like they never tell you the other bits that they find. For example, a couple of mummies that they unwrapped at the Egyptian Museum. Now, they didn't unwrap all of them, and these were pharaohs. They weren't nobodies. They did the x-rays and they agreed to unwrap a couple of the mummies. And in some of the mummies, they found like a form of cocaine, like a drug that we know today as cocaine. They found some other drugs like we know today as heroin, but it's not what they would call it then. These people were trading, were going in boats and taking all these bits off to wherever, trading and coming back with their goods. So, you know, the darker side of things, like they were the first recorded drugs runners. I
Do you
don't know
know
what you would
what?
call them.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, they found that thing. I mean, I've banged on about this before, but it still blows me away. I was watching a documentary some time back now, and they were talking about this pyramid. They found this pyramid. It was lost. They didn't even know. They knew who the king was, who this pharaoh was, but they didn't know that he was buried where he was buried. And they came across it totally by fluke. I think they came across his tomb, and they dug into it, and they got to the opening. And at the opening, it was all hieroglyphs. Right. This was 5,000 years BC. Right, 5,000 years before Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And when they looked at the hieroglyphs, and when they worked it out, it was the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
And 5,000 years later, people are in
Prayer.
church in little villages in England singing this prayer, not realizing that it precedes the date of birth of Christ by 5,000, and it's like 7,000 years. I mean, that blew me away. And it's like, well, clearly there's a lot more going on here than they thought. They were a lot more advanced than people gave them credit for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
What's the next say? She said a long time ago it was called Tataria.
What? Where was that, Annette?
Oh, hang on. Tataria is the hidden time erased.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Trade, including in boats, had been going on in the Lithuanian and earlier.
Yeah,
Gary
it's been going on a long time.
British folklore, the beast of Bodmin Moor, Cornish beast Goonbren, the Felton wildcat, reported to live in Cornwall and southwest Britain. Oh, we've got some of them up here.
Yeah,
and also, but the best cat, I must admit, right, the best cat.
I'll see you, Annette. Thank you.
The best cat is not a big beast. We're talking a small pet cat like my John, maybe a bit bigger than that, but not too much bigger. That's in Ireland. Apparently it's supposed to be a ghostly cat, and it's painted on a painting in a pub. And if you turn the painting upside down, the cat appears. Quite perturbed.
Really?
Apparently, yeah.
That sounds cool.
But it's just like the owner of the inn says, just don't touch the painting, because they're all frightened that this cat will turn up. But apparently it's been seen. People have done it, and it's been seen. But I'd love to see this ghost cat. It would make my day, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the weird thing about this was it was word for word.
Yeah.
It was word for word.
I heard about the Lord's Prayer being in the Book of Enoch, and Enoch predated Christ by, was it about 400
well,
years?
You're not allowed anywhere near the Book of Enoch, are we?
I've got a copy of it.
Yeah, we're not allowed near it, though. Us peasants aren't allowed anywhere near it, are we? And God forbid a scholar gets their hands on it.
Well, they got the actual book, I think. Is sitting in the Vatican.
Yeah, like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But it's interesting, all these folklores, though. But I think that
That's what blew me away, William. It was the word for word.
the best one is Father Christmas. So, right, we have Krampus and we have Father Christmas. Now, I don't know which one came first. Father
Well, he
Christmas.
was a Turkish guy, wasn't he? Father Christmas. He was a
He
Turkish man, wasn't he? He used
gave to
to,
the poor.
yeah, go to like made toys for the poor children, didn't he?
Yeah.
As far as I know, I'm not too sure, but I think I'm sure he was a Turkish chap. Kind soul, used to make stuff for the poor children and leave it outside their houses and stuff.
And he wore green. Did he wear green or brown? Can't remember.
I can't remember. I think when Coca-Cola made it red, didn't they? Oh, that might be a
Yeah.
myth in itself, to be honest. Or it is, William.
But I just think it's funny how, like, today Santa being the biggest lie, but he came from folklore, which was originally a man who was St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
But then you've got this other side to it, which was Krampus, who would take the naughty children away.
Was that German? Was Krampus
That was
German? Was that a
German.
German one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it
That
sort of
was.
threw Christmas on its head, didn't it? Sort of
Yeah, didn't he used to take naughty children and boil them, didn't he, for his dinner
for his
or
dinner.
something? If I remember rightly, I'm probably wrong, but I know he used to snatch the kids up and put them in his. Didn't he have like a wicker basket or something on his back?
Oh, sack or something. He used to chuck them
Yeah,
all
yeah,
in.
he had something, didn't he? Put the horrible kids into it and made them into stew. Hiya, Dan.
Mr. Barton in the house. Whoop, whoop,
Hope you're
whoop.
doing well, Mr. Barton. So yeah, it's there's lots and lots of these folklores and myths and legends flying about.
What's your favourite one, Dan?
My favourite one. See, again, the thing with the Fae, I believe in the Fae.
Right.
So it's not a myth or legend for me, it's a fact. And I think one of my favourites is the Knockers.
The Knockers, yeah, I forgot about the Knockers.
The Knockers, the mines. They were down the mines, and this is what the miners used to do. They'd have their pasty and they'd leave the end bits for the Knockers. And the Knockers would tap. If there was danger, they would tap. And that's why they called them the Knockers. And then they would leave them food as a, I suppose, like a brownie type of thing. They would leave them food as a gift. And then they would knock if there was danger in the mines. I like that one. I quite like that one because I think it's a sort of symbiotic relationship. You look after them and you're kind to them, and in turn they'll look after you. Look at Benny Hill.
Do you know he's on TV, Benny Hill, this weekend?
I love Benny Hill. I know he's not politically correct, but I love Benny Hill.
On Sky, it's called That's TV. It's on quite late at night, but Benny Hill they're running his shows again.
Funny. That was when things were allowed to be funny.
So my favourite one, Dan, I think, of all time has got to be the Banshee, hearing the screaming woman in the woods. Because now that's, believe it or not, that's bled over from Ireland into parts of England. If you hear a screaming woman, run in the opposite direction.
I think that these folklores have got their feet in every continent.
Yeah.
Because you got watching Lalorna, and Lalorna, the spirit of the woman who lost her child. She screams, doesn't she?
That's right.
And she's seen around the woods and stuff, and she's like a portent, isn't she?
Isn't she the one that comes and takes newborn babies or something?
She might do.
Yeah.
But she's another. I mean, they've all got a foot in different cultures and very similar. A lot of them, aren't they? This is what I find interesting. That we're meant to have been divided by thousands of miles over thousands of years, yet we've got very similar belief systems, even to the point of like near-death experiences. It might be synonymous to each culture, but overall, it's the similar experience.
Yeah.
Which I find really, really intriguing and interesting. But there's a lot. I mean, I couldn't even put I quite like Black Shuck as well. I think that's a cool one.
Do you?
I like Black Shuck. I think that's a really cool one.
Do you know what?
I used to work for a guy who was terrified of him, a ghost hunter. And I used to say to him to wind him up, "Oh, look, there's a black dog out there in the cemetery." And he turned his head and he put his head into my shoulder and go, "Tell me when it's gone. Tell me when it's gone."
Do you know, I think like a few years ago when I first moved up here, I think I saw Black Shuck, but I cannot be sure. I saw a dog. It's in broad daylight and we went past on a main road very quickly, and we got these. I mean, you can see for about 50 miles around because it's so flat round here, and it's not built on. It's farmland, but there was like a dirt track in between two fields, and right at the end is a house. And I saw this huge, and it was a big black dog, and it had its nose down to the ground. It was like it was sniffing and it was walking, but it was just too big. And I said, "Oh, Andy, stop the car. Go back. Let's have a look. I think I just seen Black Shark." And he said, "Oh, it's most probably a Newfoundland dog. Don't worry about it." He kept driving.
Like that one that we found on the Norfolk roads, the misty Norfolk roads in the early hours of the morning.
Oh,
Do you remember
don't.
Stifler?
Stifler. Do you know what? We were coming back for an investigation, and it must have been about, 2-3 o'clock in the morning?
About 3 o'clock, I think. It was pitch. The mist was rolling off of the fields, wasn't it, across the fens?
Spooky. And this dog just walks slowly, casually across the road.
The field.
And then Dan just anchors up, reverses back. Viv, get out there. Go and get that dog. I was like, "What dog?" He's going, "Go get the dog." So I'm out there. We've opened the door, and the dog's waiting by the car and jumped straight in. Just jumped straight in. I know, we're trying to find the owner. We're knocking on houses, and it was a weekend, so RSPCA weren't around. There was nobody we could call, so I ended up taking this dog home, didn't I?
Oh, it was brilliant. That's funny.
Dan says, "Oh, well, if no one comes for him, I'll have him." Blah blah blah.
I'd have had him. Yeah, I'd have had him. He was getting on a bit, wasn't he?
So Dan clears off about, I don't know, almost about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah.
After he's done a few coffees. I'm thinking, well, what's I supposed to do with this dog? So we ended up going back to the farm.
You did the next day, didn't you? You did.
Took him back to the owner.
Hello, you cheeky devils.
Hello, Lois. How are you?
I'm going to smack your bums.
She's on the naughty step. She's walking to the naughty step.
You took him back, didn't you, Viv? You took the dog back.
Yeah.
And for her trouble, you got a big sack of spuds from the farmer.
Yeah, this potato farmer.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Yous are like mice.
What about now?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now, guys?
Now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Are you in an operating theatre?
They're the UFOs coming in.
UFO lights, yeah.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Right, tell you what, guys, give me 5 minutes, I'll be back and I'll go on the laptop because you sound so far away.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Don't worry, it's fine.
Make you out, right.
See you in a minute. Right, while she's gone, let's go. You'll come back on there with nobody on here, nothing going on.
We would have run away. Oh, Charles says Tommy Knockers in America.
Tommy Knockers, yes, the Tommy Knockers. Didn't what's his name write a book about the Tommy Knockers?
Spielberg.
Who's the guy that?
Spielberg did a film, didn't he? The Tommy Knockers.
It might have been Spielberg, but didn't what's his name write the book?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Didn't he write one about Tommy Knockers?
I think so.
He wrote one about that, didn't he?
Spring
Hill Jack. Yes. Yeah, Spring Hill Jack. It baked kids into cakes.
I don't know. My kids would leave a bad taste in your mouth.
So lots and lots of different myths and legends, aren't there, that are bound? I mean, it was an interesting one I heard the other day on the radio, actually. It was, I'm going to recite it from them. It was about a guy was driving back. I'm not sure if it was Norfolk. It was somewhere. It was somewhere in the fens. And he saw a black dog, and it was just sitting by the side of the road. It was looking across the road. So as he drove past it, the dog decided to walk out in front of him, and he hit it. Bump, gone over it. Thought, oh, shit. So he's got out, looked under the car. There's no dog there. There's no sign of a dog. There's no sign of damage. So he's looked up, and as he's looked up, he's seen the dog 50 yards further up, just walking along. So he thought, oh, I better run after it, make sure I haven't hurt it. So he's run after it, and when he's got there, there's nothing there, but there's a young guy there. And the young fella said to him, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I've just the black dog." He went, "I've just run over it." He went, "Oh," he said, "Yeah." He said, "He always does that." He said, "I won't worry about it." He said, "It's fine." He went, "He always does that." He said, "And he just disappears." And they said, could it? The weird thing was that the guy, young guy, was matter of fact, and the young guy turned around and said, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that. He does it all the time. He'll be gone somewhere else now." And they said, for somebody to say that, could they have been speaking to a spirit?
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
thinking, could they have been speaking to the dog?
Yes.
Could it have
Well,
managed? Because the dog went round the corner, and when he went to follow the dog, the young bloke was there.
do you know that black shuck here is supposed to be quite a large dog? And
Yeah,
it's
this
supposed to
one.
have red eyes, like the eye shine is just big, brilliant red eyes, which is why it coined the nickname the devil dog. And it's supposed to like want to eat you, sort of thing.
Yeah. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder, because I thought to myself, I wonder if that could that have been the dog manifested in the human form
Could be,
or
yeah.
spirit form?
Could
You
be.
just wouldn't know, would
I
you?
would have prodded and poked the bloke.
Yeah.
In fact,
ran after it.
I'll just get a stick. Just say, "Wait there." I'll just get a stick and poke him with a
Just go,
stick. I wouldn't want to touch him, just in case, you know.
I
But
bet
it's
I've
like,
touched worse.
but you know, like Dan, like we had that investigation and we saw a lynx, as bold as brass.
Came right down by us, didn't it? And looked at us and walked off.
Oh, we were there sitting, waiting to, get ghosts, and this lynx cat walked straight past us, quite really close.
The weird thing was, it followed the trajectory of the spirit, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which is weird in itself. Is that kazoo?
Oh, wow. I'm going to smack both your asses. Cheeky little devil, you.
Dan's getting you a whacker.
A whacker, yeah, because I think it was who was it? It was Gary who said
Gary.
that Gary's going to get hold of one.
Ooh, my guilty conscience. I'll give anything a try once.
I won't bother, honestly. You might be disappointed, Lois.
You would be disappointed.
Fuck. So how is everyone?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, not bad, thank you. Yeah, not bad.
We have been talking about your ancient folklore thing in a roundabout way, and placentas.
Yeah, they came into it. I don't know how they got into it, but they came into it.
That's William's fault.
It wouldn't be a Friday night if you two guys were not talking the opposite, but we always to say we're going to discuss.
No, I mean that was William Southey's fault. We're blaming William. He's the alchemy man. Yeah, he's the alchemy man. Yeah.
I would say it was his fault too.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm on. I'll stay on for about half an hour with you guys if you're doing another half an hour.
Yeah, we'll do half an hour.
All right, our time's up. See you later, everybody. See you next week.
He's a bugger, isn't he?
See if I don't love you so much.
He's naughty.
Wow, there is a folklore in the house. Hi, Lois.
Hi, Gary.
Do you know, I'm just looking at my teeth. They really shine brightly on these lights because I started using the stuff that I bought when I was with William Becker in America. It's got a lot of bleach in it, so bleach my teeth. That's why they're so bright.
Hi, Paul. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Hey.
Hello, Mr. Mould. How you doing? Whoop whoop, Mr. Mould in the house.
Hello, young Paul.
So yeah,
Paul.
How's your week's been?
Boring. Nothing to report.
Mine has been busy. I've been chasing Richard Felix. I've got hold of Richard Felix for next Saturday in preparation for that big do on Saturday. because Dan and I are doing the VIP lunches with Richard Felix for Gary and Sharon. And we've just got all the last minute things in place, really. What else have we been doing together, Dan? But not if you know what I mean. Oh, we've got an investigation tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, where are you off to?
We are off to. Where is it, Viv?
Harpic.
Harpic.
Harpic always sounds like toilet cleaner to me.
Toilet cleaner we're going to visit.
Do you know, I was going to say that there. Are used to looking down the same floor.
Mind you, Dan, we never used to use Harpic because that was the expensive stuff.
Yeah, what did we used to put down the toilet?
Ajax.
Ajax.
It's the powder. We used to put the Ajax.
Ajax.
I can't beat a bit of Ajax, I tell you.
We were so poor. My brother used to use the floor as aftershave.
What? No.
I can remember when I was younger, and my uncle used to have his door locked, and apparently I thought it would be a good idea to go in when it was unlocked and grab his dupe and put the full bottle down the toilet to make it smell nice.
I bet your name was mad, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was. Now I can understand years later why, because dupe is the most amazing smell. I absolutely love dupe.
What's my favourite? My favourite is...
one I use.
My favourite is...
That's why I'm in love with you.
There you go. It's the dupe. You can smell it through the airways. Hiya, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Never, buddy. Better late than never.
Don't pick on the afflicted, Dan. He
can't
see
properly. Lois.
No, I'm talking about Terry. My favourite smell is that Savage by Dior.
Oh,
Savage.
The one with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
And I do like some Tom Fords, and I like that Chanel de Bleu. Chanel de Bleu. But all the ones...
The one with the Jean-Paul Gaultier one.
The blue one.
That's a really good one.
Nice.
That is a really good one.
Gaultier one's nice.
I love the Cool Waters. Cool Waters is nice.
Oh, that's Davidoff, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'll buy my kids for Christmas Chanel de Bleu. They get a bottle of Savage, Chanel de Bleu. Can't afford Tom Ford. That's about £250 for a small bottle.
Is it really?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah.
What's it called? Tom Ford?
Tom Ford.
Oh, Tom Ford. I said Tom Ford. Expensive.
Yeah.
Could get it down the market.
Down the market.
Down the market.
Lois, just to let you know, we found out this week, it's very important news. You know, there's two people in the race to become Britain's Prime Minister, which is Rishi Sunak and Liz, what's her name? Liz
Truss.
Liz Truss is the MP for Downham Market. Seriously.
Sorry, I was just reading the next thing there. She said I couldn't find my glasses one day. Ended up spraying myself with
Do you know what I did?
I've done that once.
Oh, do you know what? I like Old Spice, Gary. I know.
Do you know what I did? I think it was 2 days ago. I went to grab my because I had my wet hair.
I've had a wash, Paul.
I put my head in a turban, you know, the turban towel. And I went to grab my deodorant to spray my underarms, but I grabbed the air freshener. Oh shit! I thought I'd go back in the shower and wash it off.
Oh,
it did sting. You know what our ladies are like. You have to shave under there, while you're in the shower.
I hate that feeling. See when you've shaved and then you put deodorant straight on after it. It's like
All of them, Terry. They're all Old Spice, aren't they?
No, well, the best one, better than Old Spice, is Brute.
Oh,
Brute.
that's the
Brute.
one with the green
bottle.
Oh,
Brute.
yeah.
Yes, I
Do you remember
splash it all over. Yeah, I do.
Here's a question for you guys, right? See, if you wanted people to remember you by a smell, what would you want people to remember you with?
Eggy farts. Eggy farts.
What is your smell? What is your smell, Dan?
Eggy farts.
No, come on. What's your
Eggy
deodorant
farts.
smell?
The one that I use is dupe.
Dupe.
But me and 30 billion other blokes.
What about you, Lois? What's your smell?
I love the African lynx. See the African lynx? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's got a nice smell.
See that and dupe together? Oh, Dan, I would ravish you.
That was it, Paul. Hi, karate. Do you remember that karate? It was like all the women go mad for it. There's a bloke chopping a bit of wood.
Charles says English leather.
English leather, yes. Now I think that's quite a posh one, Charles. That's quite like a gentleman's one, isn't it? English leather.
Bob and 8.
Bob and 8.
See, my smell, that and my kids, if they smell it on anyone, they think of me. Apparently, is Coco Chanel, the original bottle Coco Chanel.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But I can't afford Coco Chanel anymore. It's just stupid money.
It's all silly money now, though, isn't it? A lot of it's silly money, isn't it, now?
Yeah.
Everything's gone up. Absolutely everything. I mean, even Lurpak. I've seen people for a laugh putting up about Lurpaks, trying to sell Lurpak because it was like £7 odds now or something.
No, it's not. I went to Tesco's today and I checked this out. You know, for the big tub of Lurpak, there's a big one. It was £4 something.
That's all right.
For a massive pack. And I pay about £3 for my big pack of clover, because I'm not into Lurpak, I'm a clover girl. So, it wasn't too much difference in it. If you want Lurpak, stop moaning, shop round for it.
Gary likes the old Dupe and Hugo Boss. Yeah, Hugo Boss is nice, Gary.
Hugo Boss was a Nazi.
Anyway, are we meant to be talking about what smells we like, or are we meant to be talking about
but Dan, this is important. Hugo Boss designed the Nazi uniform.
They did.
I didn't know that.
The Waffen-SS, the SS uniform they designed. They did. And the German and the Nazi jack, all the quid, nothing wrong with that. And the jack boots were actually designed and made by Adidas.
Did you know that?
No. Mind you, I'm not into fashion. Like, I'm your Primark sort of lassie. I don't like the whole, Nike thing.
If you're ever out and about and you see old German uniforms for sale, especially the jackets, always look in the label because it will say Hugo Boss in there. If you see one for sale anywhere, buy it. Even though it's a Nazi uniform, buy it, because they are worth so much money for that name in it.
Really? I need to go a look at that internet.
They're very hard to find now, because a lot of people destroyed them, obviously.
I can actually remember the jackets. I used to think they looked cool.
Yeah.
Or Hugo Boss.
Well, the
Nazi.
Oh, it was smart. Yeah, it was a smart uniform.
I didn't quite.
Not one you want to wear, but it was smart.
Achtung, baby! Achtung! Achtung, baby!
Don't mention the war.
But yeah. Sorry, yeah, Dupe and Hugo Boss. I like both of those.
I know. I come in and disrupt the party by talking about aftershaves and forget about ancient folklores.
Well, in ancient folklore, there must be a fragrance or a smell that if you smell it, that means the sign of something coming or impending doom, or, because that's used in people. A lot of people say that they can smell things, like, for example, Castle Rising, before what's her name?
Oh,
Queen Isabella. Before you actually see her, you smell her, and her smell is violets. You can smell violets, and then she appears. Apparently, you hear her and then you see her. So
apparently, ancient myths used to be about witches as well. That the witches had that weird smell. It's quite an interesting one. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I can remember on Dragon's Den. This is random, right? But
Hi,
I'm sure
Claire.
Hi, Claire. I'm sure there was a guy on Dragon's Den trying to bring back, see, the old smells, like for
Oh, yeah.
different eras. And you just think to yourself, you couldn't imagine like the sort of smells that they had back then.
I've got
Sort
some
of
smells.
perfumes.
I've got some smells in my box here that I'll show you my box. Right. Now the cat's not here, I can show you my box. Right. So this is my box. It's a very large box. It's quite heavy. In this box, I'll tell you what I keep in here.
Oh, if you go down to Viv's box today, you'll get a very big surprise.
Frankincense.
You're welcome, Claire. It's lovely to see you. Mwah.
This one
Taylor.
this one's called Forest Breeze. I've got all sorts of goodies in here. This is an old one. This is Ganesha. I think this is sandalwood. It's an
Okay.
old one. More frankincense. I use a lot of frankincense. This one's called Earth.
Oh,
So in other words, it smells of mud. Well, there was one here. Norwegian pine. I like my pine scents. This is a Body Shop one that I've got. Peony and lavender.
They do, Claire. Yes, it's brilliant in there.
Baby powder.
Yeah, I love it in there as well. It's brilliant in there.
Didn't we do an investigation at the Robin Hood that put out a smell, Dan?
They did. They put the forest smell out, didn't they?
Oh, it
That
smells
just smelled like
bad.
you had dry rot in them.
This one's called water, but it actually has a scent.
I'd love to smell water.
This is called Millennium.
Go away.
Oh,
Go away.
Musk.
A mosquito too.
One of the oldest scents in the world is musk.
do you know if that's the same smell as Impulse? I'll die because I love that smell as well. Amber. Where did you get them, Viv? On?
Myrrh. Now, you ask
Oh.
people, what you know, in the story of the birth of Christ,
Yeah, it's
and
lovely to smell of rain, Claire.
you had
Hi, Naomi.
Hi, Naomi. Woo,
Hi, Naomi. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You know, you had the three kings bring in frankincense, gold, and myrrh. You ask people,
Frankenstein, golden myrrh, isn't it?
you ask them, what the hell is myrrh? And no one can tell you. It was actually a herb, I believe. And apparently this smells of myrrh. Apparently.
Oh. That's an interesting.
Right, now we finished with the
I'm not going to do any more because I've got so many in here. It's ridiculous. So, and I even got essentials as well.
Lois, we've spoke about some English folk tales. What have you got in Scotland? Don't say Loch Ness. What have you got in Scotland?
Nessie.
Right, I'm going to have a confession there. You went quiet, and I'm that tired tonight, guys. I've been sitting there watching your mouse move, and I'm like, how can I not hear them? So I muted myself, unmuted myself, and I'm like, I still can't hear them. What's going on? I turned these down at the volume in the actual main settings.
Can you hear us now?
I'm just that tired. I'm like literally.
We was asking you what folklore have you got in Scotland?
Oh,
not Nessie.
I don't believe in that one, but you've got the Kelpie.
Oh yeah, I've got the Kelpie, haven't you? Yeah.
What else have we got? Well, everybody's apart from Nessie. I'm sick of hearing that one.
But have you got some folklore of some witches by some? There's a port or something, and the witches were supposed to have been there and made the ships sink or something. Wasn't that in Scotland?
I'm not sure. The other one is called the Heart of the Stone, according to legend. Maiden stone in Aberdeenshire, carved, I think it was more than 1,200 years ago, is actually a woman who turned stone after losing a wager with the devil. She bet that she could bake bannocks before he could build a road to the top of the nearby hill of I can't even remember the place in Aberdeenshire. He finished the road before the bread was ready, and when she fled, he transformed her into the maiden stone.
Oh.
Is the stone still there, or
Aye, it's still there. Aye. I'm trying to think of the other one.
Scotland must have loads of them?
But in the
Scotland.
Orkneys have got loads. Orkneys got loads, and the Hebrides have loads.
There is quite a good few, but I'm trying to think of ones that are different. It's no like your normal ones.
Isn't there a Selkie story? I don't know what a Selkie is.
I think what other ones you got? You've got a form of banshee. Being is described as a form of a banshee, but otherwise known in Scotland as a washerwoman. Apparently, she can be spotted from isolated streams, washing blood from the clothes of those that are about to die.
I've heard that one.
Yeah.
Selkies, apparently they're the most gentlest creatures.
The brownie's a house one. We've all got brownies in the house. All houses have got the brownie on it.
I don't like brownies. I prefer cookies.
Brownies are great. Mischievous, but great.
The Selkies is actually an interesting one. To be fair, they're said to be very attractive. They can come in human form. In the trouble forging romantic relationships with humans, they have no trouble in doing that. It's an interesting one. There's a loads of folklores that are really this is why I didn't want to say folklores, because I sound like I'm saying fucklores.
You do when you say that.
So,
John, don't walk across the keyboard.
But there's all different. I used to love there's a book. I don't know if I've still got it. In fact, I think I gave it to Jacqueline, and it was all about the Scottish folklore, but it came in the Scottish like sort of writing. So see, trying to pronounce some of the words, even I was tongue twisted with some of it. I was like, bleh.
Do you know what I think are quite cute? Are the soot sprites, apparently.
Oh yeah, the
soot sprites. It was a real thing. It's the soot sprites. We don't use our chimneys anymore, so we don't have the soot sprites anymore.
What
do
they look like?
I'm looking after Jack Russell.
See him off.
He's cute.
He's seen the cat.
The kids are coming.
Excellent. No, it's interesting though. I wonder if any of these things wear fragrances like Hugo Boss.
I can't imagine Nessie wearing some.
I've heard Nessie likes a bit of the old Eau Sauvage.
Eau Sauvage.
Eau Sauvage.
John, you disgusting animal. Oh, it's just.
I think we've. Have we got the jar for next week?
We're off next week. We're off next. We are off next week because we are entertaining with Gary and Sharon and Mr. Brian Kano.
Excuse me.
Yes, so you're not doing next Friday's show either?
We're not on next Friday's show. So next Friday, we'll have a holiday.
Right, we'll do that then.
We'll have a holiday.
I'm definitely doing Wednesday show with Jenny.
Yes. So so we're on Tuesday as normal, and we are talking about what we're talking about. Witches of the UK and Scotland. Yep. And we are talking Wednesday will be the lovely Lois standing in for Dan and I, and she'll be interviewing Jenny Sullivan Sunashi.
Wahaha. And at the bottom will be a cheeky message for the both of you to read.
And then Friday we're going to have a sabbatical, and we're going to take some time out. I mean, we are going to be busy with a couple of events, but we need a bit of a holiday. We've been flat out since, well, going a whole year now. We've not really had sort of any time off. I mean, I haven't had time off since March, and Dan's been filling in and doing all sorts, and so we are going hobbling.
Oh no! Naomi says, "Are you coming with Gary and Sharon to the farm?"
We're going to be at the farm sooner than you think.
Yes.
We're coming in for a visit because we have a private case that we have in Skegness. So while we are there, we are going to drop into the farm and see you guys. So it will be a weekday visit. So we will see you sooner rather than later. So that'll be exciting.
We're out that way, ghost wrangling.
You deserve a holiday, kids.
Oh, do you know what? We got so much coming in, and especially for next year, we got lots of big projects coming up. Hopefully, they won't take up all of our time once we've got it sort of up and running and going forward. But yeah, we are. John, move your bum.
Naomi. I'm disappointed. You could have waited for me to turn up and give me a ride on it. I'm disappointed, Naomi.
Don't tease
it. A ride on the footplate.
But yeah,
you
do sound like you's busy bees.
Well, next year is going to be very busy for Dan and I. We are doing events next year, and
that sounds good, Naomi.
We are doing some events, some good events. Never done before. Investigations. Never done before investigations. There is a lot coming in, but Dan and I are going to just see the rest of this year out because next year's going to be full on. So
that's okay. I'll run a tight ship and not a ship tip.
I like that.
You've got to keep Jamie under control.
Yeah, but Lois, we are going to be meeting up with you hopefully next year.
Yay! Woo!
Yeah, we are.
You do realise that you guys might find me in your suitcase when you're going down the road and you hear the bumper going bang 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 bang. Let me out.
Indeed, it is, Naomi. Sorry, I'm so excited about what Naomi said.
You can come back with us, no problem.
Of course you can.
I'll not come home.
Have you been somewhere nice, Von?
Oh, Von, how's your husband?
Yeah, I hope he's all right.
Oh yes, Paul, we're coming to the Midlands, definitely.
Yeah, got to catch up with you, Paul. Definitely, mate.
Yeah. Oh, we need to go out and do an invest together, a proper one.
Definitely.
Not that you don't do it properly, Paul. We're not saying that.
Vaughn says he's absolutely fine now.
Oh, brilliant, Vaughn. That's excellent news.
Yes, good news.
Great, that's good news. Good news.
But I'm glad I popped in and seen you guys tonight anyway.
Yeah, well, you're going to see us Tuesday as well. Just what you're going to have to do this weekend is give your Stephen a slap for us just because you can.
Yeah, exactly.
With fucking pleasure. I'll start right now.
Yeah,
Links is a good place, Claire. It's a good place. Plenty of paranormal stuff going on in Links.
Yeah, we are coming. We're coming. Yeah, come with us, Von.
Yeah.
We'll work it out.
Bunny.
Come with us, Von. You're more than welcome. And Annette, if you want to come too, you're very welcome. If you want to come, Annette, you can come too.
Yeah, we don't care. More the merrier.
More the merrier, yeah.
You know, we love it.
Oh, so excited. Please kick me when you do.
All right, we will do. Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll definitely let you know.
Yeah,
Do-
Claire, definitely.
Well, used to be my witness, like for tonight. I've been with yous all night, so when I decide to bury somebody under the fucking patio, then I've got witnesses.
Who's that, Stephen?
I could see it was when I said,
Think about
please,
it,
please, when I said, please kick me when you do, went like that to my leg.
Annette.
Did he? Just give him a dead arm when you come off the show.
I will.
Just say, Viv
Right,
said I'm
you
going to give
lot.
you a dead arm.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I know it's short and sweet, but for myself.
Have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend. Look out for each other. Look after each
Yep.
other. Make sure you're all safe. If it gets too hot, make sure you take on plenty of water and stay out of the sun if you can.
And keep
Yep.
those doggies at home.
Yep, and that is including your husbands.
Exactly. Good
Night,
night, all.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye.